Hello, everyone. Welcome to Now and Them, episode 18. As you can see, we have a new set here, which is very, very exciting. We've got a lot of new things planned for you guys for this show. But we want to first welcome you back to our monthly Laugh and Learn. I'm Julia Jornsay-Silverberg, and I'm here with my co-host, Andres Medina. And this is our monthly live show where we like to bring you guys behind the keyboard to bring you breaking news, tips, and tools, all to help you up your digital marketing game and have a lot of fun in the process. Our goal is to be a voice and sounding board for social media account managers because we want you to know that you are not alone in the wild world of social media. And we like to do this show to remind you that you've got a friend that is here in the trenches, always looking at the latest news so that you can keep up with all of it and really maximize the chance to capture attention, articulate your message, build relationships, and deliver exceptional experiences to your community. So, Andreas, are you excited for the show today?
So excited to be back in the show. Honestly, I did not know who the guest was because I was not here last month. So shout out to Olivia for covering for me. I was actually on a trip, but now I'm back, loving the new setup, and I'm excited for our guest. He's a old friend. We've known each other for a long time. So excited to have him here for the show.
We are super excited. We're going to have Brian Williams on today to talk all about how you can become an expert with visual content creation. We're going to talk about how brands can really start to create better visual assets with photos and video, because this is something that we recently launched as a new offering for our Now clients. So I know that we've got some Now teammates that are chiming in and watching the show right now. If one of you guys on the Now team would be so grateful, I'd be very grateful if you would pop in the link to our visual content creation landing page so that if people are interested, you guys can take a look, because Brian has really helped us lead this charge at the agency. And so I'm so excited to have Brian on the show. Andres, I know you guys, they're coworkers, but they're friends. They vacation together. So I know you're excited to have him on the show. But before we bring Brian on, we have a question of the day that we're going to ask all of you guys. So the question of the day is, what is the channel that you made your first social media profile on? We want to know. Let us know in the comments below. We're going to be pulling up your answers throughout the show and really seeing what you guys have to say. So make sure that you put your answer in the comments so that you guys can be a part of the show. And let's bring our guest of the month on. I'm so excited to have Brian on. Brian!
Welcome.
Welcome to the show. You guys, before we get into news, before we ask Brian a whole bunch of questions, let me tell you guys a little bit about Brian. Brian is our creative content director at Now. He's our Mr. No Gimmicks Needed guy. He's a genuine and devoted soul. Dedicated to his roots, family, and faith, this marketing maven is Lima born, Lima bred, and Lima dedicated. He has a steadfast heart and a nose for good food and an eye for creativity. Brian's knowledge of social media is only outweighed by his photography skills, which are fire. You guys, he's such a good photographer, so he's the perfect person to help you to amplify your visual assets as a brand. And when he's not attending to and loving on his golden doodle Thor, you can find Brian photographing country music stars, which has led him to be published in People, Billboard, and Music Row magazine. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So before we ask you a whole bunch of questions, we're going to dive into some news first. So we wanted to bring Brian into this part of the show because Brian is usually the one on our team calls that we have every Monday that's telling us about all the different news and the breaking stories that you guys need to know as a brand. So the first story we're going to share with you guys is about Meta. Meta is following in Twitter's footsteps and launching a paid verification program. And according to Meta, this program is to help up-and-coming creators grow their presence and build their community faster. So they're going to be testing this thing called Meta Verified, and it's a subscription bundle that'll be on Instagram and Facebook that's going to include a verification badge, which it'll work by like authenticating and matching your government ID to your profile. And apparently this subscription bundle is going to give you some account protection, access to account support, and increased visibility and reach. So I'm just super intrigued by this. I don't know how this is fully going to work. I think it's going to be really important for Meta to at least signify some way to like let people know whether someone paid for the verification badge or whether they got it beforehand. I'm very excited to see how this is going to roll out. Andres, what do you think about this?
Well, I think that this will eliminate the legitimacy. I don't know if that's the right word of the check mark, because at the end of the day, anyone can buy one.
Exactly.
And it's not exclusive anymore. But I mean, I guess they're trying to find ways to make more money and bring more income. And that's just their way of doing it. And talking about Meta, our second news article, it's Meta technology. They're actually implementing Chat GPT-like features to Snapchat Plus, only for Snapchat Plus subscribers. So this new feature is called My AI, which is the same robot that runs on the OpenAI Chat GPT platform. So it should help customize your answers. But even Meta clarifies that even though their technology is designed to avoid bias, incorrect, harmful, or misleading information, mistakes can happen. So be aware of what AI technology is giving you outputs for. That's the word they're using. And always check your facts, because mistakes can happen. But yeah, really excited. I'm not a Snapchat Plus subscriber. If anyone in the viewers is a Snapchat Plus subscriber, please let us know how this GPT element looks like. If not, I'm curious to try it, just because I'm fascinated with Chat GPT and all the AI technology nowadays.
Totally, I agree. Brian, what do you think of these two stories?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Andreas. I felt like that when Twitter launched their verification process. Everyone feels like they are spitting the facts. So I think it's very hard to decipher who's got the facts and who's just throwing out whatever they want to, kind of just to stir the pot.
Right? Like, that's why I think that if they give people who pay for it like a different color, like if it's like a yellow badge or something like that, then at least that makes sense to me. Like, that's a way to do it and not see backlash. But like Andrea said, I think that if everyone then gets a blue check mark, it totally does like decrease the value and the legitimacy of that check mark, because there was a lot that you had to go through to get that check mark before you could just pay for it. So I think it's going to be just really interesting to see how this evolves, and if there ends up being backlash. Like, I feel like one of the things that happened at the early stages of Twitter starting to do this was like people were just changing their handles and saying that they were big brands. Like that's a huge problem. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this rolls out. So our next story, we're going to pivot a little bit over to TikTok. TikTok is doing a super cool integration with Mercedes-Benz. And the integration is basically they're going to be able to display TikTok content into the super screen of the Mercedes-Benz new E-Class car. And according to TikTok, this is going to be your new favorite way to enjoy TikTok content when parked. There's a safety feature enabled, thank God. You're only going to be able to watch TikToks when you're parked, but I feel like this is a way to like really just enhance the user experience across the board. You're enhancing the experience. You're going to then like want to, like, let's say you get to a doctor appointment early. You're going to want to just hang in your car, especially if you have a nice Mercedes-Benz and it's super comfortable. Why not then just hang out in your car? There are also going to be two different screens. So if you have a passenger in the car, you can each log into your different For You pages like into your account so that you can see your different For You pages. I think this is a super cool integration, a really interesting partnership. What do both of you guys think about it?
I don't see myself seeing this feature as something that will be a decision making feature for whenever I'm buying a Mercedes.
Oh, definitely.
But I would say that this opens the door. This is like thinking outside of the box. Already, like they did the first step. But who knows that in the future, this advanced vehicles, they have cameras everywhere. Who knows whether like these vehicles will end up recording TikToks of like, I don't know, road trips, and it records like an inside outside version. Maybe I'm talking way too far on the future, but who knows? 50 years from now, like your cars will be recording the content of your road trip for you. Who knows?
That's a cool idea.
This could be that portal, you know. Super interesting, really cool to see how it will develop. But I think that this is like the beta version of the future of implementing like social media platforms into vehicles.
Definitely.
Brian, I want to see your thoughts on this because you're looking into cars in the future. I know.
And
that.
Also, I want to just shout out, Shadea said that MySpace was where she made her first social media profile. And I just want to shout out to the OGs who were making their profiles on MySpace. I'm seeing a few of our friends who are watching right now comment and say, so Rose said Facebook, Shadea said MySpace. I think Kara said Facebook. So yeah, Brian, I want to hear your feedback, but I wanted to shout out our.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea. So, especially if it's going to make recording content safer for drivers, because I feel like people are constantly recording no matter what. I mean, so if they can do it more safely inside of their vehicle, whether the car is recording all of it and you can kind of splice it and edit as you need to, I think that would be a cool feature. If TikTok just kind of record if you click start on your road trip, and you can stop it and then splice things together to make a cool like reel or a TikTok or something. I think that would be dope. But
I think that
we
need to be pitching. No, I'm just saying this is not part of the functionality at all, guys. We have now just taken this thing and now we've now created our own idea. And I just think that we should be pitching this to TikTok and or Mercedes. Because I'm just saying if someone else takes this and pitches it to them, you guys owe us. You heard it here first.
Definitely. Especially with AI technology. I know we were talking about ChatGPT earlier, but there's AI technology that will put videos together. I don't know if you guys seen like the drone shots. They automatically create like master shots in a matter of minutes. Like this could be. I see this happening. I don't know how close we are to it. Maybe it's in development right now. Who knows? But let's go back into social media because we're not trying to buy cars here. We're trying to learn about social media. Our next news article, and this one's about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, they have recently added more targeting criteria to ads. You can segment your audience better, technically. It seems that LinkedIn has been growing year after year. There's more engagement. There are more users, and the platform just seems to be in constant growth. So the fact that they're investing in the format of how you can set up an ad there, it's big for brands. What's your opinion on that, Julia?
I think this is great. LinkedIn has grown. Like we've seen a lot of growth in LinkedIn. People are using it. Businesses are using it more. So I think this is great. The more that you can get really specific in your target audience, the more likely it is you're going to actually be able to impact that audience to do what it is you want them to do. So I think this is fantastic for brands. And Brian, I'm curious on what you think and whether you've got a news story to bring to the table.
Yeah, I think targeting is great. I mean, the more niche we can get down to target our audience, I think the better. I mean, that way our ad dollars are being spent correctly. But yeah, I love Instagram, and Instagram is launching broadcast channels, and they've actually started rolling them out to creators. So they have the first go at it, and I actually follow somebody who is using it. So broadcast channels are going to be kind of like a lot of companies and places are using like text messaging. So Instagram is going to have direct messaging in the DMs. So you have to follow the person and then subscribe to the broadcast. and you're going to get exclusive content and polls and links into your DMs from that person. So I've seen it used already with an artist I follow, that they've sent out like pre-save codes, and you get like pre-sale codes to the tour that nobody else is getting. I've also seen you can, like, people are sending out exclusive links to like merchandise, or brands are sending out exclusive links, like you can buy the clothes first before they go out to the email list, or exclusive coupon codes. So I think this is going to be a great way to kind of, everyone complains about the algorithm. So I think using the broadcast channels correctly will help you kind of talk directly to your audience. And I think I'm always excited when I get a DM. So I think that people are going to be excited about that as well.
This is super cool. Is this exclusively for, like, if I only can see this or get the broadcast if I'm subscribed to the person? Like, is this connected to that subscription feature, or it's separate?
This is separate. You're going to have to follow the person one, and then you're going to have to subscribe to the broadcast. So it's not like it's not a pay to play thing.
Okay, so
it's going to be a free feature, but you'll still have to subscribe separately from following. But once you unfollow that person, you lose that broadcast as well.
Okay, that's so cool. I think this is going to be really, really powerful for creators. Andres, do you have anything you want to share about this?
So I was actually I was reading through the article, and I saw like it could also be used like to create groups to make announcements. So I believe if I don't know if we shared the link in the comments, but you can see like Mark Zuckerberg making the announcement to like his Meta team using this feature. So I think that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is super cool. I'm really curious if you guys have specific ideas for how you might use broadcast, this specific feature, to engage with your community, to give them, I love the idea, Brian, you mentioned, of like just the exclusive access. It's a great way to reward your super fans and give them, like, you could open up a sale early and just give it to them. There's so many different ways you could do that, whether you're a marketing agency and hosting a conference like we do, or whether you are like a local pizza place and want to do like a little promotion just for your super fans. I think this is super cool. So before we talk a little bit more about Social Media Week Lima and ask you a whole bunch more questions, Brian, we've got some shout outs to do. So we want to know if you guys are celebrating anything, if you want to shout someone out, maybe you've got a birthday, maybe you recently completed some certification or training. We want to know, because we are shouting out Olivia, who has a birthday on Saturday. So happy almost birthday, Olivia. We hope that you have the best day. Olivia is the most bubbly person that we have on the Now team. If you guys were tuning in last month, you saw her. She was my co-host for the month, and that was so fun to have her on. So Olivia, we love you so much. We appreciate everything you do and how much fun you make our calls. So thank you so much. And we just hope that you have the best day Saturday. And do we have anyone to shout out in the comments? I see Kara's saying happy birthday to Olivia. I mean, you guys, I'm just so excited. I'm going to get to see Kara and Olivia because we're all going to San Diego together for Social Media Marketing World. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to make sure to bring you guys along digitally with us and share all the tips and everything like that. So you guys definitely want to make sure that you're following us, specifically on Instagram and TikTok. We're going to be doing a whole lot of short form video content. So before we dive into our interview with Brian,
we got Happy Birthday Now. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Interrupted. Happy Birthday Now Marketing Group. 13 years in business.
Today's our now-anniversary, our own birthday, which is so exciting. And you guys, we actually had a team call we were talking about a whole bunch of things that we can do to really be upping the ante, to just really celebrate all month with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned, because we are going to be doing some giveaways. We've got a whole bunch of things we're going to be doing to celebrate the Now birthday. And in part of the theme of celebration, we want to play this little video for you guys, because we are getting so excited to celebrate just relationship building and to connect and all come together in June. June 21st and 22nd is our annual conference. And rather than me just tell you all about it, we're going to let you see how awesome it is.
shrink the distance between us and our customer? How can we show up to provide better experiences? What does that look like? Out-care the competition, and you can grow your brand. Because relationships are the currency of business, and experiences are the transactions that we're exchanging. How are we making people feel? How are we building relationships with them?
That video gets me so amped. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I know that Brian's going to be brought back on in just a second because we are going to ask him a whole bunch of questions and have him share his expertise. I was going to ask him what are his thoughts on the video because we've never had him on the show before. And Andreas, I know that video always gets us amped. Brian, what do you think?
I'm excited. I love Social Media Week Lima, and I love the photo booth. So I'm ready for another year.
Brian rocks the photo booth, guys. Some epic Brian photos.
That photo booth is just great for professional pictures. So anyone attending the conference, make sure you dress up to use the photo booth because you can actually get super nice pictures.
Absolutely. The lighting is so good. Bring a nice little jacket, like Andreas said. Take some new headshots. You've got your new profile picture for all your social media channels. So
New Gmail picture.
Exactly. So Brian, before I ask you a whole lot of questions, Andreas has a bunch of questions for you too. And then we're going to play some games. I want to know, because I've never even asked you this. How did you tell me about your background and how you got into photography and videography?
Gosh, my story is so crazy. I have always wanted to work in the music business since I was like 13 years old. And I had dreams of going to Nashville to go to college there. That didn't work out. And then I was actually at a concert in 2018, and I saw this girl walking around with her camera, taking pictures of the artist in the concert and stuff. So I actually messaged her on Instagram, and I was like, hey, what do you do? What camera are you using? She kindly messaged me back and kind of told me. So I honestly, 6 months later in June of 2019, I went to Best Buy and spent a couple G's and bought my own camera and hoping something would happen. And I don't know, it's literally the craziest story. I've always had this dream of doing this. And so I bought the camera. I was like, this is literally my last shot. If I don't do this, I'm never going to be able to do it. So I was like, well, I'm going to do it. And it paid off. So I'm very blessed. That's how I got started.
I love that. I love that so much because as you guys will hear more about Brian, the things that he has done since 2019 are things that people who have been photographers for 20 years could only dream of doing. And that's just your story really is a testament to if you have a dream and really want to do something, invest in yourself, get the gear that you know you need and just start doing it because you're going to only get better with experience and you're never going to get the opportunity unless you just give yourself permission to get started. So I love that. So
I feel like it'd be a Hallmark movie. Says
I'm ready.
I mean, it's true. So we're going to start off strong. Brian, what is one of the proudest moments you've had of your career so far?
Gosh, I really don't know. Like every time I get to do something, I'm literally so excited because I never thought anything would ever happen. Even though I like, of course, had this small bit of faith that something would happen, hence why I bought the camera. But like all the things that happened, I just could have never dreamed. Like photographing at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. And then what my photo I took there got published in Billboard magazine, which is the place that keeps all the charts for every single artist from ever. And then seeing my name under that photo was so cool. And then getting published in People magazine. And then working with the artists that I listened to at 13 years old. And then that just happened. Like all of that stuff is just super cool to me.
Yeah, your relationship with Julie is really something so special, especially since, like you said, you looked up to her for so long.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so cool.
that's crazy to me that that even worked out. Like I didn't even ask. That's one of the opportunities I didn't ask for. So I feel like that's one of the things like God or just and the universe, just like the timing of life is just so like perfect. Like I went to her show and then after the show, she's like, "Hey, I need help with my marketing and stuff." And never did I tell her I did anything with marketing, and I wasn't a photographer at the time. Like it just like all like just came together at the right time, and I just like, well, gotta put my head down and get to work, and then all of this stuff just kind of snowballed after. So super cool.
Oh, that's
It's
so
awesome.
cool. So what would you say, like, when it comes to brands taking photos and creating video for, like, to put themselves out there to showcase their products or their services, where do you think brands get it wrong when it comes to their visual assets?
I see so many brands still using stock photos. And I feel like that's mistake number one. We are in the era of content. Like everybody should be creating their own content. We shouldn't be using stock photos. I'm still seeing companies use stock in their brochures and their flyer and the stock video in their ads and their commercials. Like nothing about that is warm and fuzzy, and nothing about that says, "Hi, I'm excited to work with you."
Yeah.
And I think that's number one of where brands are missing is they're not really getting that first introduction right. Like if that's the first time that I see you or see your commercial and I don't see you, I see stock video, I'm not really getting to know you. So I mean, I think that's the miss.
Why do you think brands aren't showing themselves? Why do you think they're still defaulting to stock photography?
I think people are I mean, we're all human. We're all scared, I think, to be on video. And I think that we're also scared to show our true selves. And we all have some insecurities and things, but we have to get past that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all working towards a goal. And I mean, I think if you know yourself and you know your brand, you know what messaging you're trying to put out. So it's up to you to create that message correctly. And I don't think that stock video and stock photo does that. But you have the power to kind of create that message and put it out there.
I love that. I totally agree with that. So I'm super curious because I recently invested in a nice new camera for myself, specifically for video, for vlogging. Do you have a specific favorite camera brand? And if you do, why?
Yeah, I'm a Canon user.
Me too.
I feel like Canon's like Apple to me. Like I feel like it's easy to use. Of course, there's a lot of stuff you still need to dive in and learn, and it's just not a snap and shoot scenario. But I feel like Canon's color is like no other, and they've been around for they've been around forever. So I think they're just a trusted brand. They've never done me wrong yet. So and nothing beats Canon glass. If you're a photographer and you have glass lenses, like that's face in the hole.
That's awesome. So when you're working with brands, or even when you're just working and you're taking photos for, like for Julie, do you have specific tips? I feel like this is like a very, very helpful little thing that you can provide for us. What should we be doing when we're trying to frame a photo or a video?
I just think it's something that you have the eye for or you don't. And that sounds harsh, but I mean, just like a marketing agency, we can't all do everything without like really spreading ourselves thin and not doing everything to the best of our ability. And I think that once you know what you're looking for, I think it becomes second nature. Like people think that it's, oh, I can just make a Facebook post.
Yeah.
But I think there's such an art behind everything. Like that photo I got published in Billboard. I literally told Julie, I was like, hey, jump up on the shelf where you're doing your makeup, cross your legs and lean back like you're confident and put your leg on the stool until your head. Like, I don't know. I just saw it in my head and I was like, we're going to do this in black and white. And then the next day I know like they're setting it off for press. Like, I just feel like it's just something that you see before you get it done. So I just think that angle, and you just have to have the vision and the art behind it. I mean, yeah, Joanna, you either got it or you don't. I just, you have to, something you have to see beforehand. And I think as a marketer, we kind of have that with our vision, with kind of creating a marketing plan or a content strategy. Like we're envisioning things before they happen. So I think you have to have that, the same thing with photography too. Like you need to see it before you shoot it.
So let's say I have no good eye for photography though, and I'm still trying to get out there and make something good. Do you have a tip for someone, at least like here's how to try, like, should I be aiming for very simple backgrounds? Should I, like you mentioned, angles?
Yeah, I think the thing that I did when I first started, when I bought my camera, I'm self-taught. So I just went out and started shooting. And I think that as you, just like exercise, as you exercise that artistic side of your brain, like you start seeing things that you didn't see before. So I just said, grab your camera and just start shooting. And then as you edit, you're going to be like, oh, I should have took the shot from this way, or I should have turned my ISO up a bit, or I should have turned my aperture down. Like, those are all of the things that you start seeing as you practice. So I think going out and just shooting is a great start to exercising that skill.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. My tip, I'm not a photographer, but my guess, the tip that I give everyone trying to take pictures with iPhones is make sure your lens is clean.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people having that mistake. The picture looks blurry. Your camera is okay. Just clean your lens.
Just give a quick wipe. It's so easy. Just
Trust me. The quality of the content will be so much better if your lens is clean.
Yeah. I also feel like with iPhone photos, people don't realize that turning your flash on makes the photo look so much better because your camera is still trying to see with a little bit of light that it's getting in. When you turn the flash on, you're not getting as grainy photos and they're way sharper than keeping just as normal. So that's, I feel like, another great tip, especially if you're shooting indoors with the fluorescent lighting. With an iPhone, I think you should definitely be using your flash.
Hope you're all taking tips of this.
Exactly.
Some lessons here right now. So Brian, I do have some questions for you. I'll try to go over them very quick because we do have game time right after these questions. So what is one of your favorite success stories in working with a client and doing this work? Now, I know we recently launched this for clients in the agency, but I'd like to know, like, clients for Meet Brian Williams. Or Brian Williams Creative, is that it? The one?
Yeah. Can you say the question one more time?
So what is one of your favorite success stories in working with a client?
My favorite success story, I think, would just be the Opry photo. That was such a off-the-cuff thing. And I knew the press kit was going out the next day.
Yep.
So it was just one of those things that timing was perfect. And I went home that night, edited the photo, and texted it to Julie and was like, hey, I love this photo. And then her husband saw it and was like, we're using this as press. And then the next thing I know, it's in Billboard.
That's awesome.
So I think it was just that timing. I think that was probably one of my favorite moments. And I actually have my plaque back here from Billboard. It's not hung up yet because I just moved, but
that's awesome.
It's such a cool moment. I mean, I looked at Billboard magazine when I was like a little kid with my grandpa at the Hallmark bookstore in town, like just looking at that. And then all these years later, I just feel like we get so frustrated that things take so long. I'm super guilty. But then we have all of these mile markers in life that, like, man, things actually work out at the right time. Like, I just could have never wrote this down because if I did, I would have completely missed it.
I agree. And I know, like, like stuff like this doesn't happen as often. Like it takes a lot of hard work and effort, and it sometimes might feel like pure luck. But if you just keep grinding, good stuff will come to you.
Yeah.
So you got published in Billboard, People, a lot of great places. What's in the future for you? Like, how do you plan to step up your skills when it comes to photography and videography this year?
I really just need to keep shooting. There's been a lot of downtime because it is still winter, that there's not been much going on. So I do get kind of in the funk, like that I need to get out and shoot. So I'm hoping to do a lot more still concerts this year. So I think just like still like what I said earlier, it's just exercising. Like if you stop exercising, you lose your muscle. And it's not that you lose it completely because your body remembers once you get back to it. But I just think that I need to keep exercising that.
I love what you said, Brian, because you like just your honesty in mentioning that, like, you know, it's been the winter, you've been in a little bit of a funk. I think that's really important for brands and creatives to remember that even people who have seen this success that Brian has, like every single person, no matter how successful, no matter how long they've been doing this work, everyone gets into those periods where they're just in a little bit of a funk, and it's just so important. Yeah, Brian's not frozen. He's just very zen. That's awesome, Chad. Yeah, Brian's a little bit frozen right now, but I just love the point that you make, Brian, because I think that it's important for everyone to remember that it's okay to have a little creative funk, and the way to get yourself out of it a lot of times is to just keep creating and not let that funk get to you too much, like not let it get to your head.
Yeah, I agree.
He's back. All right, he's not frozen anymore. So my next question, Brian, because I know you mentioned that you have a lot of concerts or several concerts lined up this year. No, we've been back and forward trying to plan a trip. What's new for you? Like, is there anything exciting happening in your world?
Other than my freelance stuff, I'm excited that now is offering this service. It's something that me and Jessica have talked about. Something that me and Jessica have talked about for a while, and then just seeing the needs of clients. I mean, it is such a time commitment to do this and capturing the content and knowing what you need to capture. And the one downfall of doing it on your iPhone is the quality is not there.
Yep.
So I think that our service, we not only can do the social side, but you can also use these photos for commercial use as well, whether you want to throw them up in a commercial slideshow or you want to use them in your new brochures or your flyers or for a banner at a home show or whatever. I just think that these photos now have multi-purpose use, that they're just not one and done. So I think I'm just very excited that now offering this service to clients, or just getting new headshots for the website or something. I mean, there's always a need for photos, and I don't think people realize it until the time is there and you're thinking, I don't know what to do or who to hire. Then this way we can just do it all one shot. And I'm super excited about that.
So yeah, Brian is mentioning, in case you guys are wondering, we recently launched as an agency these visual content creation packages. And thank you so much, Chad, for throwing that link up there. If you guys have any questions, obviously you can reach out to any of us, but what these packages really entail, and Brian, you can add a little bit more if I miss anything, but Brian will come into your location and take photos, videos, like he said, for using for social media, your email marketing, your website, brochures, wherever you want. And this way, you know that you have these visual assets to use. You don't have to worry about stock photography. You can have your whole team there together and really plan it out so that you make sure that you're leaving with a whole bunch of things that you can be using for the entire year, that then is going to really help your brand stand out and show your personality in your content.
100%.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of this. I've mentioned multiple times in previous shows how I'm like visually, like the visuals is what's going to get my attention when I'm scrolling on social, when I'm seeing someone's website, and as soon as I see like high quality photos, it automatically makes the website high quality, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that's what ruins the website design. It's just a blurry photo or a photo not taken with the correct lighting or angle. It affects the whole visual appeal of the website. I think that tells a lot about a brand and how much they care for their customers. So before we move into game time, Brian, any final tips to leave your audience with?
Get out there and get creating. I honestly had somebody message me the other day wanting to shadow me, and I think that people underestimate the time that goes into getting to where you need to be. And I literally taught myself, like, I was messaging people, my sisters, my brother. I was just going out and taking pictures. So I think really, if you're doing this for yourself or for your brand, like, you really just need to go out there and start creating. Because the thing about visual content is people want you for your eye. So you need to make sure that you're focusing on that, like creating your own photography style, your own video style. And then the way you edit is you. You can't really copy that. And that's what people want. People want you for that. So I think really just spending time on your own and don't get so caught up in trying to be someone else that you forget your brand and your message. So I think that's what I would say.
I love that. That's good advice. Uh-oh.
Chad's really into game time.
Not only did Chad cut me off, but we skipped a little bit around. But I just want to say, Brian, I think that's such good advice, because what no one wants to see, like, your brand should not be trying to be a carbon copy of some other brand. So showcase your personality. That's going to be what your customers love to see anyway. Yeah. So thanks for bringing all the knowledge, Brian. I really loved all your answers. I think it's really so great for people to be able to use this information, empower themselves to get out there, start taking the photos, let your personality shine through, and always feel free to reach out to Brian if you guys want to book a session and get some amazing visual assets created. So as Chad graciously played like 4 times, we're going to play some games. So are you ready, Brian?
I'm ready.
Okay, sweet. So we're going to start out with this or that, which is Wait, you guys, we rolled out a new show flow today. We knew things might be a little rocky. I didn't know they'd be this rocky, but we're rolling with it. We're rolling with it. So, are you both ready for this or that? Because now we're all frozen. So
I love how we're frozen, though.
I love the capture, though. This is a great visual for us being frozen. This is so good. So we're just, you guys can enjoy our really smiling. You don't often see a Brian smile that big. So if you guys want to take a screen capture of that, you usually get a deadpan face. I actually am going to pull out my phone to make sure we get a picture of this right now. I got to keep them guessing.
I already
my cards on the table.
I already screenshotted, so they can hear us at least.
Yeah, you guys can hear us, so you can just enjoy our little paused faces. I'm not worried about it. So, Brian, my first this or that question for you: what is more fun, shooting or editing?
100%. I love being in the. I love being in the moment of shooting. So 100% that.
Shooting. Okay, you guys, we're going to take a quick pause. And Chad's on the back end. Okay, look at this. Amazing. Let's give it up for Chad for a second. Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad, for always figuring things out on the fly. So moving on to the next this or that. I'm excited for this one. So Brian, you've got one choice. Are you going for crumble cookies or Chipotle?
Chipotle, 100%.
Oh, wow. I'm actually shocked
I love
That's a
a good
great-
cookie, but crumble is very hit or miss for me. Them
Okay.
flavors
That's a great
sometimes
decision.
taste like I would never take a second bite.
So my next question for you is concert photography or lifestyle photography?
Concert. That's why I picked up the
Like the
camera from
hype.
the get-go. So, and I feel like concert
Interesting.
photography is like, when you need to be recharged and you need to go like back home or go on vacation. Like concert photography recharges my creative. I don't know what you want to call it. Just my
Battery?
creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I
Totally.
just need to get out there and feel it, and then I'll be good to come back.
I love that. So you're going for a walk. Are you preferring to go outside or on the treadmill?
Outside walk.
Me too. Oh, even in the
Thor.
winter though?
No,
when it's
inside.
cold?
Inside in the winter.
Okay. 'Cause, I mean, there are people, I'm just saying, there are people that go on runs all year round in Buffalo. I see people
But-
outside when it is snowing going on runs. And I'm like, I don't know where you come from, but that is not my speed.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just people watch in the gym while I'm on a treadmill if I gotta walk inside.
Totally. I hear that. So my last this or that question before we get into some other questions. You win a free trip. Are you going to the mountains or the beach?
Probably
Puerto
the
Rico.
beach. Yeah, to Puerto Rico.
He's gonna say Puerto Rico. We got both.
Well, so that's I included. I thought that you'd maybe say the beach, but then I'm like, you're pretty pale, man. Can you really take the beach? So I thought maybe you'd say mountains because tree cover and shade. It might be might be good. And I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like I would assume that you like going on hikes. So I just kind of
Yeah.
assumed that
I actually have
you'd pick
never been on a
mountains.
hike.
You've never been on a hike.
No, I've never been on a hike. And the thing is about being pale, they have sunscreen, so then I don't get sunburned.
I mean, I'm super pale and I get sunburned real bad. Even
Brian.
with sunscreen. I was just in Florida and I put sunscreen all over and I still somehow got way more pink than I was hoping. So
No, thankfully sunscreen works for me, and I did use a lot of sunscreen last time I was in Puerto Rico and I didn't get burned at all. So
Brian, we did went on a hike in Puerto Rico though in El Yunque. Remember that tower?
that's true, and I was exhausted after. I definitely prefer to sit on the beach.
OG
All right.
said mountains. Joanna said mountains. Love seeing you guys chime in the comments. Okay, so Brian, I want to know, what is a big goal that you have for 2023?
Gosh, I mean, I feel like I could go two ways with this, and I feel because we're multi-dimensional people. So I mean, there's multiple things I want. Like, I really want to shoot at the Ryman in Nashville. I haven't got a chance to shoot there. So I would say that's maybe outside goal, but I think my big goal for 2023 is really to realize that my happiness is within me and not within work or other people or fill in the blank. I think we keep looking at the next thing, like the next thing is going to make me happy, the next move, the next relationship, the next friendship, and it's never enough. So I just want to be happy in myself to know that I can walk away and not care.
I love that. Or speaking my language, Brian.
What a guy.
That's my sister.
That's so sweet. What is the best thing that you've bought in the last 4 months? Or 6 months?
I bought a Rode Pro mic for my camera, so that way I can get better audio. So I would say it's always, I feel like, a camera purchase for me.
Investing in
Just
yourself.
Yeah, because I always make my money back. That's the only thing I ever buy for myself that I make my money back. So
Yeah.
I always have to say something with that.
I love that. And if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Again, this is such a weird question. Like, I have met famous people and they just don't do it for me. Because at the end of the day, they're people doing jobs. Like, and if I have to use my one lifeline on somebody famous, I just couldn't do it. So I'm gonna throw a wrench in here and say since the old me is dead, I would have dinner with 17-year-old Brian, just so that way we could have a good conversation. That's what I would pick.
I
That's
love
a smart
that.
answer.
Yeah.
Because
Right, so
17-year-old me is when I graduated high school, and that's when I gave up on all of this stuff.
yeah,
So
I
like
was
to
gonna
have
ask,
that
like, why 17?
conversation, the conversation with me now and me then, like just seeing, but it's like yin and yang, like two different sides of the thing. So I think that'd be a cool
That
deal.
is, I like that.
So y'all can hear you can't hear Chad, but he was commenting on something about the dinner of 17-year-olds. He couldn't hear it. Anyhow, we'll keep going with the question. Brian, what's the best advice you've ever received and why?
I'm always frozen. The best advice I've ever received was actually when I was in Puerto Rico the first time. I think it was the first time. I had a friend call me and told me to jump, and he was just referring to like chasing down the Nashville thing. And like that's why I came back home from Puerto Rico and was like, okay, I'm doing it. Like I'm going to make it work. And like, I mean, that literally changed everything. So
I remember that call.
Yeah, me and Andres were in the car, and I'm super thankful for that friend who called and thought enough to like be honest with me and like, hey, you need to do this. You've been given so many opportunities that people would die for. You just need to go see what's going to happen. So I'm super thankful for that.
I love that. That's a good friend.
You got a deep story. If we keep talking about the story, we're never gonna finish. So you mentioned you traveled to Puerto Rico. You've been to several concerts. You've traveled with several artists. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go since you started adventuring now?
I'm gonna give you two answers. I've always wanted to go to New York City. Never been there. And then I had a friend go to White Sands National Park in New Mexico, and that sand is beautiful. And she took some amazing pictures there, and I would love to go photograph there. I think that's probably my number one place I want to go photograph too. So if anybody ever wants to go to New Mexico, let's go.
That's awesome.
Sounds like an interesting destination to me.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. I'll go anywhere where it's warm. Just take me out of the Buffalo winter.
I'll send you her pictures and you'll really want to go because they're amazing.
Oh, yeah, I love the beach, so I would love to go. I mean, yeah, I was just in Florida and I was like, I do not understand how people even work when it's this nice out. Like, I'm like, it is just so nice to be in the sunshine. So Andres, I have a question for you. If you could like immediately be best friends with any celebrity, who would you pick and why?
This Bad Bunny probably. Just because I would like to see like his workflow, like his creativity workflow. Like how does he come up with so many marketing campaigns that are so well thought? And I just want to see how they operate, you know. That would be my interest in being best friends with him.
I love that. That's a fun answer for sure. Getting to see the inside.
Yeah, I want to see what they're doing so well that's being so successful year after year. So that would be my answer.
I love that. Brian, what would your answer be?
I don't really know.
You're like, I don't care about celebrities.
Drake.
My answer would be picking some celebrity that I could go on tour with. That way, that some like huge celebrity, I'd probably pick Taylor Swift. Just for the simple fact, like, I think once you photograph Taylor Swift, like I think that's what people want on their resume. Like, I photographed Taylor Swift Airs tour for how many dates. Like, people want to hire me left and right. So I think that's what I would choose.
So here's the plan. I'm going to become Taylor Swift's best friend. You're going to become her photographer. And Andreas, if you become friends with Bad Bunny before this, if he's friends with Taylor, you could just introduce us and You know what I mean? We could do a little
we
bit of
can get it to
networking.
collaborate.
Yeah.
Taylor and Bad Bunny took a pic at the Grammys together, so I think that would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. So Andreas, if you want to start, we'll all start working our channel, see who can get the celebrity friendship first so that we can all be doing our celebrity network.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
So you guys, we have an awesome show for you next month. So you guys want to stay tuned. Oh,
we're staying
okay.
Here. No roll off. We're stay tuned.
We typically have a thing. We typically have a thing that says stay tuned, but that's okay. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay, so you guys, you're gonna want to stay tuned for next month. We are always live on the first Thursday of every month. So next month, that is going to be April 6th, and we are so excited because we're going to have the amazing Doreen Morin Van Dam coming on to talk all about agile marketing. And just want to let you guys know, you want to make sure to type the word recap in the comments, because what we always do here is after we have our expert guest on, I take some time, we write up a blog post, we sum up all of their amazing takeaways and tips. So if you type the word recap in the comments, what will happen is it'll trigger our chat bot, which will make sure that you get subscribed to our blog so that when we put the blog post out next week, it'll be delivered right into your inbox. And you can get all of Brian's tips and takeaways right in your email. So make sure you type the word recap and mark your calendar for April 6th to tune in for Now and Them episode 19. Can't believe it'll be episode 19 next month, Andreas. Isn't that wild?
It is crazy to think about. Like, I mean, it feels like a routine now, but since we're just meeting one time a month, it feels like there's a giant gap in between, but it's crazy to think 19 episodes. That's a lot.
19 episodes. So we are so excited. If you guys like the new show flow, we had our guest on for a little longer this time. So please let us know in the comments and be sure to mark your calendar for next month. And we will see you next month. Brian, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It was so good to have you.